Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the TikTok Gems of War event in which the Clockwork Sphinx is added to the game. So let's get into that. As far as the brown purple trait stones, you want to use this as a newer player on something like a Drake Rider. Later on in the game, you'd want to use it to fully trait the Fairish Ra that was just available last week if you happen to have gotten it. This is half the trait stones you need, so that's one of the objectives down. You would only need blue purple, which you could go do in Glacial Peaks if you want to go farm out the other trait stones for it. But that'd be the best thing to pretty much put it into. Other things are like Keeper Souls, Cabarrus, and such. As far as the troop itself, it's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. After testing a little bit, it destroys all of a chosen gem color. So this is pretty useful because destroy means, of course, you actually accumulate the mana. So assuming that, let's say there's 12 or more brown or purple on the board, well, you can just accumulate all of its mana right back, even if it doesn't cascade into anything. So that's pretty beneficial. It also gets a pretty decent armor buff, pretty similar to all of the other armor buffs in this game, though one thing that makes it quite unique is it does have a much better chance of landing an extra turn, mainly because you can choose any color to remove, unlike something like an Alistair, where it only removes purple, or a Templar, where it only converts a color to another color. This will be able to target absolutely anything, which gives you a lot more control over the board compared to most armor gaining options within the game, and could potentially even be a replacement for Honor in some instances. Though there are very few things that are beneficial with armor, the most notable one is Rowanne. There are a few other ones that are somewhat good, though not as good due to mana conflicts, such as Bombot, Guard's Avatar, and Paladin. Though more often than not, you just want to go Rowanne, since you can get her for free from Forest of Thorns, and that's pretty much the only thing she'll ever be used with, unfortunately. But works really good with the Mechanist class as well, because it is a mech, so it can start with half mana, meaning it would only require 6, meaning you can get that up in a turn, even if you don't have the banner set to it. As far as event objectives, we have ourselves 10% to all mechs as well as to all Adana, and she is of course both of them, as well as pretty much every mech within Adana. Mechs in general are pretty weak, though there are a few noteworthy ones, like for example the Bombot, which has absolutely insane damage this week with its 20%. As far as the actual objective for the week, all you have to do is kill a bunch of things in PvP, so definitely a good time to go do PvP if you don't normally do a lot of it, as you can get 150 gems as well as 7 gem keys this week for it, so very, very good value in that. Other than that, we can get a lot of gold farming this week. You'd basically just want to use any kind of standard gold farming teams, like with a Sunbird Rowanne, with a Firebomb in there. But if you just go and plop this into your PvP or your Explorer team, you will get 400 additional 400 additional gold per battle. Obviously, it'd be more viable to use this with an Explorer because you can win Explorer a lot quicker than what you can do in PvP. Though, of course, you might be wanting to do PvP. I guess, never mind. With that being said, you probably want to do the casual PvP, then repick until you get a really ridiculously easy battle, and then just go throw down something. Oops, that's not what I want to show yet. Something like the standard Explorer team, like a Sunbird, Rowanne, Firebomb, Clockwork Sphinx. Of course, just replacing out one Firebomb for the Sphinx itself, and now we'll not only get the event gems that we need for the event, we'll also just be able to wipe this out in 1 or 2 casts. Should have taken that blue initially. Now we're going to have to go and work out our mana. Not going to be that big an issue, but that does make us have to go out of our way just a little bit to go get another cast, and that will be that. So we'll get 4 event gems from this, we'll get our 400 additional gold from the Sphinx, and there's everything. Our decent amount of gold, and the 4 event gems, or at least decent given that we're doing a ridiculously weak casual battle anyways. But still, pretty nice, and you just keep repicking that until you find another weak one, and then just keep repeating that. And that is pretty much the easiest way of doing both of them simultaneously, getting your gold as well as all of the event gems that you need for all the actual gems. Other than that, event keys, are they worth using this week? Kind of. There is one troop within the event key drop pool this week that is somewhat viable, and that is a Tesla. Tesla is a very interesting early game troop, one of the 2 strongest things you can get as a newer player. Those 2 troops are Dragon Soul and Tesla. Dragon Soul can do 20 damage to all enemies, as well as gain 15 souls per cast, as well as it does mana generation, which is just absolutely insane at a lower level. But Tesla is also very similar to that, well, at least as far as being good at a lower level, that is. She deals a small amount of true damage randomly split amongst enemies, but that's not the good part. The good part is it boosts by all ally and enemy armor. What specifically is good about that, of course, is the enemy boost, and that means regardless of who you're up against, your damage will essentially scale based on your enemy. So even if you are fighting battles that you absolutely can't even remotely kill, you'll be able to with a Tesla, because every enemy, if they have a higher HP, they likely also have a higher armor, because every single troop in the game, as you gain more stats, gain both of them about a similar amount. Some do gain a little bit more into HP or a little bit more into armor, but for the most part, as their overall durability goes up, so is their armor. So you can easily end up getting additional damage off your Tesla, and it just scales up very well if you're fighting people who are like 10 times your level or something like that. So a really nice pickup to have. Do keep in mind there is a new legend coming in next week, but for newer players you might want to throw some event keys down in at least an attempt for Tesla, as she is really nice to have around. As far as the Soul Forge, there's only one really noteworthy thing in the Soul Forge at this current moment in time, and normally I wouldn't really say that she's too noteworthy. It's Queen Isabel. The main reason I'm saying she's noteworthy is 2 weeks from now is going to be raids for Sword's Edge, and you'll want to have a Queen Isabel for this, mainly because Queen Isabel has a ability that allows you to do an ally's attack as damage, and obviously in something like raids you're going to be using Mang, so using a Mang into a Queen Isabel onto it will be insanely good, and probably just the entire strategy for not next week's raid, but you know, for the next raids that'll be coming in 2 weeks or whenever that is. But yeah, she will be the most viable thing to have for it, so if you don't already have one, you may want to pick up one. She's used in a couple other teams though, not really that often, mainly just with Mang, of course, and with anything else that tends to get a really high attack, or into teams that tend to build around one single troop. They're not really that common, but she's one of the better troops to be using with a team like that. As far as everything else, not really anything too noteworthy, other than, I guess, some of the other legends. Grapple Pot is a pretty decent AoE that also does an automatic extra turn, and King Highforge I love using on Brown Guild War Day, though outside of that context, doesn't really have much of a use. But other than that, that's pretty much everything there. None of the little event gems are really worth it as far as the color things. And one other thing I need to go over, I knew there was something I forgot. There were some nerfs. Very rare that they just do rebalance out of nowhere like this, but they did finally nerf Nyx, and technically Florian too, but mainly Nyx. The change that they made is they now have a maximum of 12 mana drain instead of a full mana drain. But they still create however much they drain based on. So if they drain 10, they'll still create 10. If they drain 12, they'll still drain 12. But it has a cap of 12 now. With this being said, Cockatrice is actually quite a bit better than these now. Well, not necessarily like better, but it still has less of a gem spawn, but it still retains its full mana drain. So basically, you'd use this instead, and unfortunately, Nyx and Florian are now pretty much dead content. Still usable in some situations, though nowhere near as good as they used to be. Florian was already pretty average. Nyx was the only one that was really quite a bit above average, but now with this change, it is not really worth using. With that being said, whenever they do nerfs, they do generally give refunds for it, so if you click this refund button, you do get 100% of the souls and the trait stones that you put into it back. So if you do want to go do that, definitely worth considering to go put her traits into something like a Kraken if you haven't already done that. But of course you might want to keep it upgraded if you're later in the game, just to have the Kingdom Stars for that purpose. But do keep that in mind, the ability to refund them is there, so you may want to consider doing that, as both of them aren't really going to be used too much anymore. Maybe very occasionally on certain teams, but of course, as far as Nyx, you could easily go replace that with a Sea Troll or a Kraken in any instance that you would have previously have used her. Anyways, I believe that is everything, so let's go into the actual PvP teams now. So, we kind of showed it at the beginning there, unfortunately. Should have switched into something else, but we're going to be showing this. This is actually really good. This, it surprised me a lot that it was even like remotely possible to use. But essentially what we're going to be doing here is you get this thing up pretty much instantly between the half mana and the firebomb. You then cast that in order to get your mana. You then double it. Of course he would archer us, never mind, plan failed. Well then, this is going to be one of those battles where he doubles 15% us, doesn't he? Yep. Oh, of course, when we record, of course. Anyways, we'll go into round 2. That normally doesn't happen. That's only 15% chance, and he rolled it twice in a row. Oh, and he has Mang. Good job. Okay, never mind. Forget anything just happened here. Restart recording. No, just kidding. I do sometimes do that if things go, like, absolutely, like, completely horrible, but, we'll still play it out. That was... no, I don't even know what just happened. Anyways, round 2. Let's not do that again. Luckily, he's not using Archer or Mang this time, so neither of those two things can happen. Anyways, we throw the Firebomb down, we get this, we throw this into either her own mana, if there's 12, or purple or brown. If there's not, we can go and throw it into one of these. I think we don't really need to, though, given how close it already is. Purple doesn't seem too bad because we'll get that yellow, so you know what, I'm actually going to go for that. We get our yellow guarantee right there. We even got a green outfit, so that ends up working out. Now that we got that armor buff, we now throw the double onto the Rowanne. I didn't really say what this is for any of you that don't know what it is because it doesn't get used that often. It's the golden cog. You get it at 40 yellow, 40 red hero mastery. It doubles an ally's armor. This is basically only used with Rowanne and Guard's avatar, more so Rowanne. But you just do this, get the buff, and then do a double shot to kill them out. Sometimes even a single shot if you, depending on your level range and how much damage you end up getting from it. But yeah, very simple kills. Just get it right back up again. We could easily just go use this into a green or blue. If there's 12 or more, we'll get all the mana we need. Unfortunately, that is not the case at the moment. But it looks like we can go for a brown take into the yellow. I believe that's an extra turn unless I... yeah, okay, that definitely is. So we'll go and take the blue over, get that last little bit of mana, see if we can get the cascade there. Doesn't look like it. We don't have the other thing either, so I guess we'll just go and simply take a green, throw that down, and that will be wipe right there as soon as we do the cast, if he doesn't revive. Will he revive? He will revive. This team is pretty bad against barriers since you are running basically just with one really heavy hit. But against most other things, this work out decently. Of course, you don't want to use it against... oh! It happened! Oh, it finally happened. Dragon Soul just got... first time I've seen that happen. I know many people have already seen it already. But a baby dragon just transformed into a Dragon Soul. Or Dragon Soul transformed into a baby dragon that transformed into a Dragon Soul. We're getting all of the perfect bad luck for it today. Well, anyways. What do we need now? We need to go get Rowanne back up. I'll go move that over. But yeah, this team isn't really going to be replacing anything that I already used, but it is kind of interesting that you can get such a good Rowanne. I was getting some really really quick loops with it earlier too. Of course, now it doesn't want to do any of them. We'll go try it one more time though, real quick. But definitely something to mess around with. It's quite a bit of fun. And of course, we do get 400 extra gold for using it this week. So if nothing else, at least let's use it this week. Do I deal with this Great Maul? Why do I feel like he's going to devour me and we're going to lose this battle instantly? Oh, we'll do it. Okay. Why not? Might have to take a few more skulls than I might want to take, or deny his mana, or do something, but we should be fine. Get the Firebomb in there. We don't have to go with Firebomb either. We could be going with something else, but I just like doing that for the quicker mana. If we're going to be running this team, we might as well be running it for a quick win. So we're going to do that for the guarantee extra turn that's just laying there. We get all of our mana back too, which works out quite conveniently. I kind of just want to go and do an armor buff again, and then double, and then go into a single shot, so I think that's exactly what we're going to do. I should probably take a mana that we actually need, though, so let's go take the blue or the green. But then again, we could just take yellow, drop that down, and he's going to do a little bit of damage there. He better not get that Kraken. 35% chance. Will he get it? Based on our luck right now, yes, he will. He has a 100% chance of getting it. So we'll throw that down, and hopefully he doesn't. I told you, 100% chance. Rip. Rip. You get the point. Why? Anyways, let me go repick into a real team. He's obviously using 4 times Firebombs. Oh, we get to see nerfed Nyx. I actually haven't battled Nyx since it got nerfed. With our luck right now, it'll still win. But anyways, let's go into Double Dwarven Gate, Valkyrie, Tesla. This is a team I've shown quite a bit, but I figured I'd show it again as it is the cheapest team you could possibly build out of a Tesla. It's also one of the cheapest early game teams you can have, assuming you already have a Tesla. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get the Tesla part, which is in the event keys this week at least. But yeah, Double Dwarven Gate, Valkyrie, Tesla. This is 2 commons and a rare, so basically everyone has this. The only hard part, again, is just the Tesla aspect of it. But essentially what we're going to be doing is spamming out the Dwarven Gates. They give us a bunch of barrier and a bunch of mana in a 5 interval. Everything on this team is divisible by 5. We have the 10 on both the gates, the Valkyrie at 10 and the Tesla at 15, so it works out perfectly. We have the Valkyrie here with the banner set completely to it with a +2 red, +1 yellow, which we can then go use to go mana generate a bunch of blues. And not only that, but we also end up getting souls, which is kind of nice. Always good to have some kind of passive soul farming in your team, particularly earlier on in the game when you really do need those souls. So right off the bat, we'll want to go for Valkyrie. Very lucky in that the starting board actually gives it to us directly. I think I'm going to go for a yellow convert here just to get that down. And yeah, I think we're good to go. Normally you'd want to cast the second gate first, but if we need the first gate to get the second gate to full mana, then we'll just do that. And casting both of these will give us the mana we need to go cast Valkyrie, or that will happen, that works too. So we'll go and throw this down on Brown, that gives us Tesla, and we just keep casting Tesla until we win. And of course she scales up based on all the armor in the battle. Ideally you'll want to be taking as little damage as possible because you need your armor values to increase your damage. You also don't want to be doing anything with physical damage, so you don't want to be taking skulls or anything. Even if you do, it's not too big a deal because Dwarven Gate has a ridiculously low attack, which is actually a beneficial thing in this team. Because again, you don't want to be hitting them. Like, even if he entangles us, that would actually be a good thing, not a bad thing. Because it'll keep him with more armor. And the more every 4 armor that any troop has is 1 additional damage for. So it definitely helps to stack up. Also, in this instance, like right here, when we have the 2 gates, we always want to cast the second gate first. Because it rebarriers that guy, so he takes 0 damage. As you can see, he still has the full armor value. Then we just throw a Valkyrie down, and again, just keep repeating that until we destroy them with Teslas. It will take several casts, maybe even more, depending at the current level range that you're at. But more often than not, normally takes around 3 to 4, sometimes less, sometimes more, but on average, it's about how long it takes. And again, just throw a second one down, throw a first down, get Valkyrie down, that gives us Tesla, hopefully, or we'll just keep going with more gates. And yeah, that's pretty much Tesla in a nutshell. Ends up working out very nice. Highly advised for early on in the game. This team can run through the entire game. There isn't really a single thing that this team cannot destroy. Sometimes due to stat discrepancies, obviously if you're fighting like a level 1200, you will lose to them occasionally. But even as like a level 100 or so player, you can take out essentially any team in the game. Also really good with against dungeons, if you're struggling with dungeons right now, or at any point. Once you get this team, it'll just be a cakewalk to basically win at everything. So very nice to have. Definitely advise trying to get yourself a copy. And if not, you can hopefully wait for it until it eventually gets into Soulforge if you don't get it off of event keys this time around. But she is the only viable thing currently within the drop pool. But anyways, guys, that is everything I wanted to go over in this video. If you still have any other questions about anything, just let me know. We'll be messing around with that Sphinx team a little bit more, and hopefully we'll have better luck. I don't know if we should consider that good luck or bad luck. We had a lot of lucky things happen, kind of. I guess you could consider them unlucky. It's rare that they would happen. But they were all bad things, so I guess that was unlucky. I don't know. Anyways, guys, still have any other questions, leave them below. And I will see you all later. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.